Welcome, everybody. So today we are going to be covering our September horoscope. And yes, we are beginning our new month with, wow, so many changes happening. Okay. So many big changes, not just small. Like I'm talking about like big changes happening. And my God, flooding everywhere all around the world. Looks like this eclipse was quite heavy. I remember Joni Patry actually made a video that my wife watched. My wife loves Joni Patry. She follows him. She said, I don't want to follow you. I follow her. I'm like, okay. It's like Joni Patry said, there will be a lot of flooding starting September and October. And look what's already happening. And I believe, according to her, we're going to see a whole lot more. So you see, that's mundane astrology is a completely different ball game. So what I cover here is very less mundane, more personal. Like I show you how a planet will be affecting, your own personal life. And please note also for the new people, I'm not going to be covering any zodiac sign like your uh, Aries moon or Aries ascendant or Taurus ascendant or Gemini ascendant and what's going to happen. I give you exactly what's happening in the sky. And once you know what's happening in the sky, then you look at your own chart and you look in the chart. Okay, this is what's happening. Is this what's really happening? Is this what's really not happening? So, and remember, for this, I always use sidereal zodiac, the true Vedic astrology zodiac. Okay, so if you're like following tropical zodiac, you'll be like, oh, I thought Saturn is here. I thought Jupiter is there. What's happening? No, this is sidereal zodiac. That is 23.5 degrees behind the tropical one. And as always, if you do not know, what your planetary positions are in sidereal zodiac, what nakshatra they're placed in. For that, check out the links here and check out my full astrological report, including my books and reports and consultations at this link. So let's get started with our September horoscope. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to be sharing with you my screen. So let me see here. First, what are the three major things that are happening? The very first one is that Mercury is finally going to go direct and is going to go direct on September 6th. Then the second major thing that is happening is that the north and south node of the moon, Rahu, Ketu, are changing their signs from Leo to Cancer for north node. And south node is going from Aquarius to Capricorn. Then the third thing that is happening is that Jupiter is going to change signs from Virgo to Libra. And already Saturn is direct. So Saturn himself is going to be now moving forward towards Sagittarius, but it won't come to Sagittarius till end of October. So these are the three major things that are happening. And the reason why I said three major, because look, Mercury goes retrograde 4 times a year, right? So it's not a big deal. The reason why the big deal is happening now is because this Mercury retrograde happened right on, the eclipse. And especially Mercury is conjunct Rahu. Although, Rahu is moving backwards, but they're less than 5 degrees apart, 4 or 5 degrees apart. So this particular retrograde is very heavy. I'm sure you guys are noticing a lot of, like, especially nowadays, they call it fake news. A lot of fake news coming about, which are being caught. And in personal life, naturally, you're going to, whatever you communicate, okay? Let's say you said a simple hi and hello to somebody on Facebook. That hi and hello can blow up to be something completely wrong. So instead of you said hi, hello, they're like, oh, why are you saying hi, hello to me? How come you didn't say hi, hello to me when I saw you at this person's birthday party? Oh, now you want to come say hi, hello. And that one thing will lead to another, and it'll just like become illusion of big waste of fart. Because once Mercury goes direct, Rahu leaves the sign, Mercury goes on its own way, you'll be like, oh my God, why did I say that? What did I do this? But the thing is, like I'm saying, even the most normal of things, like, hey, hi, simple response, will turn haywire, because I am seeing that with a lot of people. A lot of my friends, my astrological friends, I see people on my Facebook page, on my personal Facebook page, um, just blindly just having wars. It's like just, like when there's a famine or there's some disaster and people are looting, that's what's happening. I mean, I'm just like, and this is why it's so important to know astrology, because once you're aware, so you just have to be aware here that Mercury is retrograde with Rahu. I am aware of it. Once you're aware of it, your awareness itself will make sure that you don't make any mistakes. Certain mistakes are bound to happen. Let's say your computer will die. Mine definitely did quite a few times. My astrological software stopped working. So funny that out of nowhere, the things that never go wrong go wrong. Like I have my broadcasting software. Never goes wrong. I never did any changes, never did any any new updates, nothing happened. But suddenly it just shows a blank. I can't even go live. So those are things out of your control. But what is under my control as us human beings is what we communicate. What do we say? When things don't work out, are we going to beat our head to the wall and be like, why aren't you working, software? Or are you going to just flow like the Tao? So this is why this was a very, very big Mercury retrograde, and it's still happening. Till September 6th, things are going to screw up. Communications are going to screw up big time. But the thing is, because it's with Rahu and Mars is sitting right there in this retrograde, things will blow up for no apparent reason, and aggression will come in through that blowing up. So be the Tao, flow. You know how a waterfall knows that I need to flow and I need to go. Waterfall knows that I'm not going to be throwing myself up. I just need to go down. It's like nature doesn't need instructions. You got to remember that nature does not need instructions. Nature is. It's us that always need instruction and coaching and mentoring. Why? We should be like the nature. And the way you go with the nature is being aware. So my job as this monthly astrologer for you is to bring you to your center point of awareness. And I myself, I'm trying to be aware as much as possible. So it's not like I'm a whole perfect being who's enlightened and centered, but at least I know the way. I may not know the destination, but I know that this is the way that leads to that destination. So, and believe me, this rambling of mine is very important. It's not like I will say, oh, I'm sorry for rambling. No, it is very important. Okay, so let me share my screen here. God, I hope I can share my screen, because now I see all blank. See? How many times I've shared my screen? A lot of times, right? A lot of times. Right now, it shows me blank. All this, I see the name of the screens, but it's showing me blank. It's not showing me this. So hopefully it'll work. And if it doesn't, I'll manually put the chart up. So here we go. So hopefully it is working right now for you guys. If it's not, I'm going to make a separate layover on the video of the chart. So this is our monthly chart. Okay. All the boxes that you see, this number 1, 2, 3, 4, think of them as a zodiac signs. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, all the way to Pisces, number 12. And these boxes are houses, like the first house, and you go counterclockwise, second house, third house, fourth house, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10, 11, 12. But we just want to make sure that you guys know the signs. It's all about the signs. Forget the houses. You put the houses in your own chart. So as you know, on the beginning of the month of September, you're going to have Rahu, Mars, Mercury, Sun conjunct together. Mercury will be retrograde and is right now combust as well. So I just explained to you exactly what Mercury retrograde is going to do. So we don't need to, further prolong ourselves in there. But Venus is in the 4th house in the nakshatra of Pushya. So Venus, whenever it's in the sign of Cancer, okay, and I'm not going to go into the nakshatra part. Those are the constellation, the fixed stars. But Venus in the sign of Cancer very much wants nourishment, emotional connection, and finding love and romance and leisure, pleasure through emotional connections. So wherever Venus is, or wherever the sign of Cancer is in your birth chart, that particular house will become very important to seek pleasure from. And you will receive pleasure. You will feel happy, even if you're going through a major depression, and let's say you're on prescription pills. That particular house where Venus is right now at 14 degrees of Cancer will be the house that will give you the utmost peace. It'll be the house where you will gravitate towards wanting to find love and nourishment. If it, let's say it happens in the ascendant, you're going to be like, okay, I need to get something new for myself. I want to love myself. So I want to buy something new. I want to buy a new piece of clothing. I want to buy a new piece of jewelry. If it's happening in the 4th house, like you see here, then you're going to seek comfort and happiness through home, through mother. That's how you need to study this. In the 6th house, you're going to find great pleasure in not only taking care of your health and improving your health, but perhaps giving your love to some other unprivileged people who want love. So let's say 6th house represents your office, daily office life. Perhaps somebody in your office needs your support, needs your love, so giving them that love and support will be a very beautiful thing for this Venus. And the thing is, you will automatically do these things. This is not something that I'm telling you and then you'll be like, oh yes, I need to do them. This is what's automatically happening. The Tao is flowing. The planets are flowing. And as you know, Saturn has finally gone direct in the sign of Scorpio. Okay. So before it was retrograde, now it's direct. And now that Saturn is direct, and Scorpio represents our deepest, darkest emotions, it's our insecurities, it's our tabooic nature, it's our hidden, secretive nature. When Saturn was retrograde, we were dealing with a lot of karmas related to our insecurities, especially in the house that the sign of Scorpio is in your particular chart. So it could be in the ascendant, it could be in the 3rd house, 5th house, 9th house, whichever house it's in, you would have been dealing with a lot of insecurity and a lot of lethargicness in that particular house. So let's say if it's happening in your 5th house of intelligence, you will feel greatly lethargic about, okay, what am I studying again? What am I learning again? If it's happening in your 7th house, there'll be a lot of laziness in taking responsibility in your marriage, taking a lot of responsibilities within your, committed partnership. So this is what this Saturn is doing, but it was doing. But now that it's direct, but still it's in Scorpio. So now when it's direct, we're now at least wanting to move forward from those insecurities. Like, all right, I know I've dealt with this crap before, but I just want to move on. But the thing is, whenever Saturn is in this stationary period of going from retrograde to direct, especially Saturn is such a slow-moving planet that this stationary period can last for a long time. So the lethargicness becomes even more. Like wherever this Saturn is will make you feel very droopy, very like just drunk about those things. But as it progresses in September, you will start to feel a whole lot of hope. A hope will come in for a better karmic pattern in our life. Why better karmic pattern? Because Saturn will then go into the light. What is the light? the sign of Sagittarius right there. Sign of Sagittarius becomes this light for all of us. So because see, there's a reason why the rishis of the past gave the meaning of the houses, gave the meaning to the zodiac signs, in a certain way. Because when you're down, when you're like depressed, when you're like no hope around you, and you're like, what do I do? And you're feeling insecure, you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling panic. What is it that we always do? We have all gone through depression. I've gone through depression in my life, from breaking up from relationships and whatnot. From there, we look for the hope through God, through religion or philosophy, spirituality. Like, especially I went intense into astrology during my period of depression, especially between 2007 and 9 or 8. During that period, I was just so deep, like, why this is happening to me. I was going to like 10 astrologers, whoever I could find, give me an answer. Of course, some had good answers, some didn't have any answers, but I finally was starting to understand that, wow, the reason why I'm feeling this way is because of this planetary alignment. So that hope, that Sagittarius energy gave me hope. Now, I'm not saying that a planet was transiting into Sagittarius during this time period, but that's how you feel like when you're coming out of those things. When you have been broken up for somebody for 6 months, you're just down, depressed. Oh, everybody, you see that person in everybody's face. Then suddenly at your work, a new person shows up and they interact with you. They are beautiful, they like you, and you're like, wow. And suddenly within 2 days, you guys are dating, and you're like, X who? You see, this is what happens with our insecurity. Insecurities are like that X. And when that Sagittarius sign comes in, it's like that new person that comes in. So God comes in and always makes you feel better. So Saturn, which represents the karmic pattern, which represents our responsibilities, duty, commitment, sacrifices in life, is finally going to give us that hope that our sacrifices are going to be somehow rewarded. Our duty that we have given in the past, literally 2.5 years of Scorpio, are finally going to find its way to healing. So this direct motion that now Saturn is in is slowly, tick by tick by tick, is taking us towards that better hope. Like even right now, I think Saturn is in stationary period. I would say especially when it's September comes in, that's when you'll really feel that great joy. Now, let's change this to the 30th, the end of September. So look what's happening now. Rahu comes into the sign of Cancer. Ketu goes into the sign of Capricorn. Okay? And Jupiter is coming or comes into the sign of Libra. Okay? And Sun is already in Virgo with Mercury. Venus, Mars are in Leo. So first of all, let's first actually discuss the north and south node. Now, I've already made a video on this channel, as well as my main YouTube channel, KRS channel, of the transiting of Rahu and Ketu in Cancer and Capricorn. So Cancer is a water sign, right? And if you know the story of the north node of the moon, Rahu, it's about how Rahu drank the elixir and blah, 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 got his head cut off. So now one head is the north node, the other is the south node. In the sign of Cancer, Rahu loves drinking the elixir, the watery sign. And this is known as a Mool Trikon placement of Rahu. Mool Trikon as in Rahu considers Cancer as its office, where he becomes professional and works. Why? Because remember, he was drinking the nectar. Cancer is the nectar. So when Rahu comes into the sign of Cancer, Rahu actually does quite well. believe it or not. Rahu does quite well in this particular sign. Even in Leo, you know, on individual basis, Rahu will help a person become more dynamic, creative. In Cancer, there's this it's like this storm of emotions that come in. And what do I mean by emotions? Cancerian emotions, meaning if you have been working 20 hours a day, hopefully you're not, because then you should be sleeping and not watching this video. Unless you've been working just 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week. When Cancer comes in, you will make sure that you spend more time at home. You spend more time with your children, your mother, father, friends, whomever is in your social circle, because Cancer is where we feel our happiness and relaxation. Rahu is a planet that loves that nectar, that elixir, right? Loves to drink and party. So in Cancer, it wants to party with its family members. Because Rahu is a chameleon planet. For Rahu, just think of moon becoming like really close to the earth. So from this much moon, you're getting this much moon now. It's like that inflated moon in Cancer. So there's going to be a whole lot of protective energy coming in towards the family, more need, like a obsessive need to spending more time emotionally towards the places where Rahu is in your particular chart. Even if it's in the 10th house, Rahu, it is going to make you emotionally connect with home, because Cancer is the original house of the home. But what's going to happen in the 10th house, for example, for Rahu in Cancer, you're going to seek pleasure at work. Rahu in Cancer in your 10th house, you may bring alcohol in like a can of Coke. And you know you're so fed up with work, you have to drink in order to work. And I know this because in my corporate world, I knew people who did that. I was very scared of that because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get fired if I do that. But these people, they were just like, man, I can't do this. I got to drink, otherwise I can't work. So they would have like a Coke can sitting, or like a, McDonald's, the drinking cup sitting in their thing, but it would be mixed with vodka or something. They will go in their car and do that. That's something that you are going to seek. You're going to seek this pleasure. You're going to try to escape reality of the work and seek that emotional pleasure. Wherever Rahu is in your chart, you're going to seek that emotional pleasure. So, for example, Rahu comes into the ascendant, you're going to seek emotional pleasure of the self. You're going to be like, what? I just want to like improve myself. I want to love myself more. I want to become obsessed with myself again. So people may change their appearance. People will, buy new clothes, buy new things. I'm like, okay, I want to just, drink this nectar of youthfulness for myself. A lot of people can actually get, facelifts and plastic surgeries. On the opposite end, you have Ketu in Capricorn. Ketu itself considers Capricorn its Mool Trikon sign. Because Ketu is symbolized by Dhavaj, meaning flag. Ketu is flag. This is why Ketu and Mars represents land. What do you do with the flag? You put it on the land, right? I conquered this land. So Ketu says, I conquered it. Mars is more like, oh, I'm coming to conquer it. So, but watch out. Ketu says, I'm already here. This is why because Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn, where it's the strongest, and Ketu, the south node of the moon, is reflection of Mars, it finds its home here as well. Although Rahu's exaltation position is the sign of Scorpio. I'm sorry, Ketu's exaltation position is the sign of Scorpio, but in Capricorn, it becomes very strong. So wherever the sign of Capricorn is, there's going to be a very strong need to conquer that and put a stance. Like you're going to be wanting to put a stance in that particular area of your life. So let's say, for example, Ketu is doing this in your 3rd house, okay, of communication, younger siblings. You're going to take a stance against such people. So let's say maybe your relationship with them. Let's say your relationship with them is perfect, great. However, something will happen where there will be a situation where you're going to be forced to disagree with them. And you're going to be like, no, I'm not going to agree with you in this. I am putting my stance. I disagree with what you're doing. I love you like a brother. I love you like a sister. But you're wrong. So shut up and listen to me. That's what Ketu will say. So you just got to see where Ketu is in your particular house. You're going to take a very strong stance. And you're going to be very professional about those things. You're going to be like, I own this house. I own this particular land. And I'm going to rule it. Why? Because Capricorn is a sign of rulership. So because Ketu represents the past, your past coming alive, your past karmas will help you conquer things where the sign of Capricorn is. So that's the story with that. But you got to watch my whole video. I made like an hour or hour and a half long video on Rahu and Ketu on that. And then, as you know, Jupiter, literally on September 11th, comes into the sign of Libra at like 0 degrees. And it's already moved on to the 3rd degree of, the zodiac sign of Libra. So wherever Jupiter is in your chart, so from your ascendant, from your moon, and remember, judge it from both ways, ascendant and moon. Planetary placements from the moon shows what is going to happen whether you want it or not. From the ascendant, it shows where you are going to want to put your own free will into. This is why moon and sun becomes very important. So Jupiter being in Libra, definitely going to find a whole lot of diplomacy in whichever house it's in. It's going to find change whichever house it's in. It's going to help you reshape the house it's in for the better. Why? Because Libra, what is the quality of the sign of Libra? Sign of Libra is a movable sign, meaning it loves change. It likes to look at right from left. It's not fixed, like, okay, this is it. Like Jupiter and Leo, I have fixed qualities here. Jupiter in movable sign will be able to change things for the better. So if something needs changing for the better, it'll change for the better. In Leo, if that Leo sign is not allowing that good change to come in because there's malefic planets, it's going to be very hard to make that change. So now, because Libra represents diplomacy, being liberal, making negotiations and contracts happen. So here Jupiter, which represents the divine order, which represents, our higher wisdom and knowledge and a hope for a better something. So whichever house it's in, you're going to put forth that effort to change something. So let's say if it's in the 4th house, you're going to be renovating your house, bringing some new furniture in, or perhaps you're going to move to a new place if the timing is allowing, especially through Mahadashas, Antradashas, Charadashas. If it's in the 7th house, it's time to change relationships or bring some new change into your existing relationship. So whether if you're, let's say, so fed up in your relationship with your boyfriend, girlfriend, like, that's it, it's time for me to move on. I need to change. I can't deal with you anymore. Or what's going to happen is you're going to be like, you know what, hon? We've just been very stagnant for like, a year and a half now or 8 months. Let's go out on a vacation. Let's go to Europe. Let's go, like, cave hunting, or not cave hunting. What the hell is that? Like cave crawling, or let's go to safari. Let's do something exciting. So some people will bring that change to make that existing relationship better. Some people are just like, look, I just got to move on. Because hey, when I like someone, I take a relationship to one level. Then if it's better, then I'll take it to the next level. Then the next level. Then the level where it's absolutely necessary for me to leave. That's a joke from You've Got Mail movie. So that's what Jupiter is going to do. Jupiter is finally going to come out of its criticism and be more liberal. And Jupiter is a guru and a teacher. And especially in Virgo, I notice it personally. Some of the gurus and astrologers have been so critical of other astrologers, other astrological systems, and other, calculations and this and that. Hopefully, they find this liberal and corporative aura around them. Like, okay, you be happy where you are, I'll be happy where I am. So a lot of teachers and gurus out there who are being critical will suddenly find this ability to be more liberal in their life. May not be a whole 100%. They're like, all right, I think we can both exist in the same limelight. It's like, for example, Western astrologer and Vedic astrologer fighting each other. One saying my mind is good, the other saying I'm good. In Libra, hopefully they'll be like, we can both coexist in the same screen. That's what this Jupiter energy will bring. And obviously in September, as you see, Venus and Mars are both going to be in the sign of Leo. Oh man, especially in the nakshatra Purva Falguni, this is great. Ooh, if you haven't gotten laid in a while, you will most likely when this Venus comes in the nakshatra Purva Falguni with Mars. I mean, passion is going to rise, your sexual energy is going to rise, your your root chakras is going to come alive. I mean, this is going to be a very passionate, whichever house this is placed in, you're going to be so passionate about that house. Like, man, I want to do something dynamic and creative towards that house. If it's in the 5th house, you're like, wow, I am going to be so romantic to my current spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend that they're just going to be swept off of their feet. This is a very, very great trigger for, like, see, you got to understand, people think that when Venus comes with Mars, or Venus comes in its exaltation position, okay, it's only there for a month, I'll be back to my old crappy ways when it moves into Virgo. You don't understand. Planets trigger things in our personal life. Sure, they may move on to other signs, but they trigger something. Let's say like you're waiting to go somewhere. What do you have to do? You have to light the ignition, right? That particular moment when a planet is in a certain sign, it starts the ignition of the car. And then you can go, okay? Whether, your hand is on the gear or not, your hand is on this side of the steering wheel or something, or you're talking to someone else, it's moving now. The time is past. You're doing something else now. You're thinking about, your first day that you're going to right now in your car and how you're going to maneuver to get late in that very first day. But you have moved. This is how planets work. They trigger things in our life, they move on, but that trigger keeps going to a certain extent till its destination is met or till its goal is fulfilled. Okay. So, and then obviously Sun and Mercury will be in Virgo, as you know. Sun will be at 13 degrees of Virgo by the end of August. It's going to be entering the sign of Virgo around the 15th. Right now it's in Leo. So sidereal wise, Sun will enter in Virgo around the 14th or 15th, not sure. And I'm too lazy to go back in my software. But again, the Sun's energy is going to go from being like, okay, I'm the king. Okay, I am the king. To now, Sun is slowly going to a position where it's going to be judged and criticized. Meaning the king was a king from Aries to Leo. That's how the cycle of the king works. King exalted in the sign of Aries, right? In Leo, it feels like, okay, I'm in my kingdom. But now what's happening? Season is going to change because dual sign, which is the sign of Virgo, represents the change of season. All dual signs are trigger points of season change. So season is going to change from summer to fall. That means the king must fall, meaning the king must be criticized now. And then in Libra, it's going to be judged. So this is a start where Sun will be more lower and lower, and we're going to feel more cold. This is why they said the Sun will then die, in the fire of Sagittarius and then rise again. There's a whole thing about that and Jesus as well. But again, I don't want to be all theologist right now. But that's what's going to happen in this. So very exciting month, very, very good month in terms of finally seeing some sparks in most of your people, most of your guys' lives. Okay. So anyway, I don't know how long I rambled for, but anyway, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below.